So, this is Hannah Klein. Welcome to Hannah Klein's time. This is a kind of podcast to discuss politics and various issues in the world with various people, and I speak about by myself, or I invite a lot of guests and speak on one. But please don't forget to listen, download, and share this podcast with your friends. So it's like 4. Yeah, it's 4 in the evening in Israel. So I can still say Shabbat Shalom, I hope. And it's great that we see 3 hostages freed. Eli or Ohad. Welcome home. But some people have sad news when they come home to overcome, and I hope that just friends and families or anyone just can be with these people. I'll go back to the discussion on Israel later, but there was an important, finally, meeting between President Trump and Prime Minister Ishiba. First of all, when I look at this first of all, when I look at the summit meeting, well, this was something that I really, really felt when I was looking at Prime Minister Kishida. Well, he sounded probably better, but he was not used to probably handling all the hard schedules of the Prime Minister, and it sounded like he was very much influenced by this jet lag. And in case of Prime Minister Ishiba, I think that he was just trying to focus on something very hard, but he was not managing very well. And I'm sorry to say this, but when he had 101 sitting with Prime Minister Abe's photo at the back, not the photo, but painting at the back, I think he had to he should not have closed the jacket. Like, it's terrible that I see. I mean, he should be dressing, and also he should probably, the reason why he just holds on to this armchair is always because I guess he's really tired from the flight or something. I don't know. But at the press conference, before talking about the press conference, I believe that, President Trump was very kind to Japan as a nation, and it was very honorable thing. But I don't know what he would say at the back regarding what Prime Minister Ishiba was doing. I don't know about that, actually, to be honest, because that quite often happens to many Japanese people, actually, who visit foreign countries. They may not realize what they're doing, but there are people talking at the back of what they are doing. I mean, it's not something like mean, but sometimes it's hard to tell people that, it's kind of like weird. It's very hard to tell people in the face when you don't know, and even when people get to know each other, it's still hard to say it. It's a kind of manner, probably, and I don't know if it's a manner in Japan or the United States, but it is quite common in the society of the United States. And also President Trump took a picture with Prime Minister Ishiba and gave it to him, and also he gave a photo of when he was about to be assassinated on July 13th in 2024 in Pennsylvania. I was looking at how the shooter was aiming at, and it sounded very, very scary. But I'm very glad and pleased that he's back on track. On the right track, really. Which means that he became the president. A lot of I hear the discussions and the diet, the Japanese diet. And what is disappointing is that people try to talk about being defensive. I'm not saying that the politicians should be offensive, of course, toward the United States. And also, actually, at the same time, there is no reason to I don't understand all these people discussing, to be honest, because it's always important to speak to the United States in case something happens. And if they can't do it, then I'm sorry, but they're ineligible to become the majority party or those who hold the office. And whatever. But I'm not sure, and this Prime Minister Ishiba ordered the disclosure of the documents, but I do not understand exactly why he had to order it, like, personally, because I have to say, you know what, I know that, people's life can be bought with money, but she got like $25 million from the nation as compensation, and she has it, and now she is using it for any kinds of lawsuit against the nation, which is which sounds like so much in vain, in my opinion. And I'm sorry to say this. This is not about the summit, but I really, really appreciate the fact that President Trump was very friendly to the Prime Minister as, as the head of Japan. Really, it's one relief, and then, even though he sounded really weird, this Prime Minister Ishiba sounded really weird, and the summit meeting, but it's off. It was pretty much awful. What his attitude was like, but I mean, well, President Trump probably knows the difference between Prime Minister Abe and Prime Minister Ishiba. He knows it very well. Well, he's a businessman, of course. It's something that's a businessman has to be very sensitive about. But I have to say that this one moment of relief is that President Trump was very generous to Prime Minister Abe. No, not Prime Minister Abe, of course, but I mean Prime Minister Ishiba, who visited him, and it was not exactly how I feel or what I see. Well, like I checked like some posts, but I do agree with some of the posts, personally and for other reasons. But probably President Trump knows that he has to confront China, like as the head of the democracy. I'm not flattering, but it's reality, and that's the only way, actually, to avoid the war at the same time. I mean, Japan doing this and that doesn't work. Okay. The Japanese government needs to stand strong against the Chinese authorities, which are trying to just find the Japanese and try to just arrest them and charge them for the espionage, like so many of them. And I just hope that it stops. But anyway, I'm very, very, it's a moment of, okay, I will just change the subject right now. probably I will give more. I will give more comments on the summit meetings and yeah, other things. But I just well, it was actually very interesting to and it was very interesting to invite re, Reserve Colonel Ransomere. I mean, he was very generous to me, and he answered various questions. He has his 3 sons serving in Gaza right now. I mean, he loves his country, really. You know, and I could see that, you know, how much he loves his country. And I have to say that I don't know, or Reserve Colonel Ransomere, he doesn't know, okay? We are not touching any clandestine or confidential information related to the military, and we discussed the issue, so there is no military or information that should not be coming out. We just discussed, well, he discussed his objective views. As I said at the end, he has a lot in mind. Of course, he has a lot in mind, of course. So I hope that people do not take him very seriously. I mean, I'm not saying that he's saying something which is invaluable, but what he's saying is one of the opinions that must be honored as an Israeli. I'm not an Israeli, and I'm just, it's very important to listen to him with his very objective view. He has a doctorate degree in astrophysics, and he's a very intelligent person. So, and another thing, I hope that the Japanese government will never think of accepting Palestinian refugees. Really. I just do not want to say this, but it's true. I don't want terrorists. And as he said, Hamas was elected with an election, which was a scary consequence that happened about 20 years ago. And actually, I will be telling who later after scheduling, but I have a very reliable guest who is a specialist on UNRWA. She is a specialist on UNRWA, and I am very, very pleased to have her on my podcast, actually. And it has a lot of meanings. Number one, I hope that she talks about UNRWA and the reality to people who live in Japan, and also not just in Japan, but in other countries. My podcast, well, it has it has service to so that all the people can read, even though they cannot hear English so much. And also, I think people need to understand the reality of UNRWA and also what Hamas is. And I hope that to arrange the date with her. And yes. And actually, I am going to invite my old friend. His name is former Major, I have to say, former Major Montgomery Granger. He he has written a book called Saving Grace at Guantanamo Bay. Well, he has served in various, military missions during his long service in the U.S. Army. And I am very pleased to invite him. I would also like to hear his view about 9/11. Well, he lives in New York, and it's not something irrelevant to him regarding 9/11. And it also has a lot of meaning to American people. I mean, I went to church service. Actually, I wanted to go to the church service to pray at a church on September 11th. And so I stayed in the States for a long time. I mean, not like I didn't have to apply for like visa, but I stayed in the States for a long time at my friend's house and attended a church service with her family. It was quite shocking what the Catholic father said in front of people, but I believe that 9/11 and October 7th. Well, October 7th is happening. Well, is never again. And it's still affecting a lot of people right now. But September 11th, well, thinking about that, we have to think of what jihadism is right now, because there have been so many terrorist attacks in Israel, because and like they scream, and well, there are stabbing cases, car bombings. Oh my gosh, like there are so many terrorist attacks in Israel, even though it's very safe. And it's very sad that there are victims because of the terrorist attacks by the Palestinian terrorists. Okay, please don't forget about it. They are Palestinian terrorists. Okay. But in the news media, they are described as children shot to death. Well, before talking about the stabbing incident that these Palestinian children, like child terrorists, commit, and that's why they had to be neutralized. But the news media never does. And they describe something as if Israel commit, like human rights abuse. That's what Amnesty likes to tell. Human Rights Watch likes to tell. I realize. I'm sorry. I just I don't like that organization. And there are other organizations that like to talk about the stabbing incidents or car bombings, car bombing, which was committed by the Palestinian terrorists, and when those Palestinian terrorists were neutralized, they're treated as the victims. That's what happens. And I cannot accept this, especially after October 7th. I had so many regrets over. I just was talking a lot about UNRWA because Lazzarini wanted to make office in Japan, and I hope that the Japanese people understand what UNRWA is about, and also why I don't think Hamas should enter the United States. The United States or Japan or Israel. Anyway, so on the 11th, David Atherton, a journalist, is coming to my podcast to talk about the serious rape crimes that are occurring in the United Kingdom right now. And I hope, it's called grooming gangs. And I will discuss further after I discuss with David Atherton, Mr. David Atherton. But I think that I will get to hear a lot of helpful information for Japan or the United States or the West. I mean, the UK is right now, I'm sorry, it's in crisis, really. And something must be dealt properly. But anyway, I hope that the three hostages who came back, they feel safe in Israel with their family. One person has lost his wife and two daughters, two children, I have to say. Yes. There are people, hostages, who has lost their family members, and it's so devastating. And please don't forget that people are human. And you know, the other day I read out what our school kids were taught at school. I was quite angry after even reading it. I'm sorry. Okay? These are filthy words that ever just came out of my mouth. And you know what? That's not me saying it, but it's me saying it at the same time because I was reading out all the Arabic translations that, you know, I just had it translated. But it's just so awful, terrible. Even I was so angry, I could not tolerate what I was saying. I mean, even though it was not about me, or I did not say it, but I mean, stabbing a person and just rush over with the car. I mean, that's what they did on October 7th. Okay? UNRWA has no good, okay? No value. No morality. And I have a list of anti-Semitic researchers in Japan, unfortunately, and they are the ones who are speaking in the news media, spreading and spewing the hatred against Israel. Like, they are promoting it. Like, they're advertising for Qatar. Al Jazeera is like Qatar's news media in any ways. And they're the NHK journalists refer to what? The Qatar news media, or what? Iran? We have to speak on behalf of Iran. This is a democratic country, okay? So if the news media ever says something like that, it's not about the Japanese people. They are the ones responsible for what they are saying. And I don't care what they say because they lie all the time. And they have lied all the time throughout history. Anyway, I don't want to end up with just throwing anger on my podcast. But I hope that the Jewish people, the Israeli people, the Zionist people have peaceful Shabbat. And I hope that they have a good evening. And I have a peaceful morning on Sunday. So I will I will have a podcast tomorrow as well. But there will be pretty much interesting guests coming up. So please, okay, please listen to other episodes that are coming up or the past episodes. Download them and then share my podcasts with your friends. Okay, recommend my podcast, please. Okay, so thank you and good night. Shalom.